Daniel O'Neill, the UK-based YouTuber behind English Woodsman, has spent nearly a decade thrilling audiences with his daring wilderness exploits and cozy woodland camping escapades. He normally reviews camping gear and shares his peaceful outdoor escapes. But August 2023 saw Daniel post a video that deviated starkly from his usual fare and left viewers on edge. Daniel walks through the woods at the start of the video, chatting with his subscribers, snacking on berries, and pointing out the footprints and litter left behind by previous visitors. But 25 minutes in, things take a dark turn. As Daniel talks to the camera, he suddenly hears footsteps behind him. He whirls around, but there's no one there. What's chilling is that the footsteps stop dead when he calls out, "Hello?"
And rain camping is really good. Is that a badger? Hello?
Undaunted by the terrifying experience, Daniel presses on with his camping trip. But as night falls, the footsteps return. This time, they're even closer.
There's that noise again now. Hello? Hello? You got a bit of that. There's nobody here.
Daniel refuses to let fear run him off. He insists on finishing his dinner, despite the ominous atmosphere. But when darkness completely engulfs the forest and the footsteps resume, Daniel's nerves become overwhelmed. Recognizing the risk, he decides to relocate and sets out to find a safer campsite for the night.
I'm going to be honest. I can't stay here now. I'm going to be a wimp. I don't care if people call me a wimp in the comments, but I can't stay here. I'm too unsettled. I'm nervous. I've done camping like this a load of times. I think I'm going to go find somewhere else to get this bivvy set up. But I'm leaving this spot.
Viewers are suspicious about the source of the footsteps in Daniel's video. Some think he was being stalked by a person, which would be extremely risky given his remote location. Others believe it might have been an animal, but the consistent and steady footsteps make that unlikely. Whatever the reason, Daniel made a smart move by leaving. YouTuber CJ Fawn's solo night in the notorious Pokok Forest turned into a nightmare. Pokok Forest covers 18,000 acres and is infamous for its brutal urban legends. As night falls, CJ sets up camp and ventures into the dark forest. He spots a light in the distance. As he watches, it becomes clear it's another person walking through the woods. Unaware if the person is friendly and having already heard gunshots, CJ decides to hide and wait. At 1:30 a.m., the mysterious figure continues to move through the forest. Determined to detect spirits, CJ uses a spirit box. Then, in a terrifying way, something smashes into the side of the tent, and CJ's fear reaches a peak.
Has something evil haunted this woods? I don't know what that said.
Things take a dark turn at dawn when he's startled by an unseen presence lurking just outside the tent. The rustling of leaves underfoot sends a chill down his spine. CJ hikes out of the woods the next morning, grateful to have survived the long, terrifying night. Brendan, the adventurous mind behind the YouTube channel. Brendan explores, searches for a secluded spot to park in Jaywick, finally finding a quiet area on the edge of farmland, far from streetlights and busy residential zones. But at 2:30 a.m., the peace he craves is shattered when he's convinced someone's outside, trying the door.
I think someone's outside the back. +2. Someone just tried the door. Hey! Right, whoever the that was has now gone. I'm gonna get out of here. Oh my god. Oh, fuck's sake.
I'm the one left here now, thank God. That loud clanking at the door handle and the smashing of a window sent my heart racing. Luckily, my quick reaction scared off the would-be thief, who vanished into the night as suddenly as they appeared. Deciding it wasn't safe to stay, I made the tough call to abandon my camping spot and face a long, cold drive home. My terrifying experience in Jaywick has sparked a significant discussion among my followers about the risks of solo travel and stealth camping. It serves as a stark reminder of the potential dangers lurking in even the most peaceful locations. Phil, a YouTuber, has been sharing his hiking trips on his channel, Hick Slam, since 2017. He takes his viewers through everything, from preparing for a long hike to camping solo in the woods, choosing the right gear, and sharing his outdoor adventures. On the night before Thanksgiving in 2021, Phil went on an overnight hike to camp on the Appalachian Trail near his Virginia home. Things started normally, but after 30 minutes, he stumbled upon strange trash with song lyrics written on the containers. As he entered the wilderness, things took a bizarre turn. Approaching the campsite, Phil found more disturbing notes.
The weirdness continues. What the? And there's a dead duck here.
Some notes contain cryptic poems, while others discuss in-depth conspiracy theories and undercover federal agents. The rest reveal biographical details, telling the writer's story. It's hard to confirm if the note writer was the duck killer, but it's unlikely to be a coincidence, given the fresh notes and the dead duck lying nearby. As Phil took in the eerie scene, he spotted a tarp and a fire at a campsite, about 20 yards from the notes and the dead duck. He kept his distance and continued up to a shelter. Later, he reported that 2 women with a dog approached him, asking if he'd seen the person leaving the creepy notes and dead animals. When Phil mentioned the campsite and fire, the women became frightened and asked him to walk back to their car with them. Phil thought it wise to distance himself from the campsite and join the women. He then hiked in the opposite direction to find a safer spot to spend the night. Fortunately, the rest of his hike was uneventful, and he set up camp, lit a fire, and enjoyed dinner, miles away from the disturbing notes. Once darkness fell, Phil entered the shelter to check the camp log, reading notes and stories from other hikers. That's when things took a creepy turn again.
I'm gonna check out the shelter log here. I hang out by the fire. Almost every shelter on the Appalachian Trail has a shelter log where people write in their trail names and what's going on. They can write whatever they want in there. So it's kind of cool tradition here. So let's see what this one says. Little engine, back section. Hiking again finally. It's nice and little trail magic. Some comics and writing and stuff. Alright, let's see what's happened recently. Holy crap. Wait a second. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust the camera here. This writing looks almost exactly like the writing that was on that garbage a couple of miles from here.
Phil returns to the shelter one last time before calling it a night in his tent, and that's when he spots a half-empty Gatorade bottle dangling from the ceiling, suspended by a string. A note, penned in the same handwriting he's seen before, catches his eye. "Beware, Yeet Mouse. The dead are not silent."
2018, while I was incarcerated at the Okaloosa County Jail. What the heck? In solitary confinement, I figured the following out. Refer to Isaiah 28:15 through 9. This is the same ramblings from the guy that was on the other side of the river. That's kind of scary. Kind of weird. Those women down there said they were going to call the police on the guy. Wow, this is weird. It's just like it goes in one direction, then immediately goes in a completely different direction. And there's just so much of it. Like this line up here. Think grave robbery in an attempt to obscure the reality of Little Mrs. Wolf. Content. Come up with some more of those wicked schemes, JB and company, so I can show some more of your true character.
He was drifting off to sleep when he heard a noise near the shelter. He cautiously stuck his head out of the tent and spotted a lone figure with a headlamp circling the shelter. Fearing it might be the same person who left the cryptic notes, he sneaked back to his truck under the cover of darkness, constantly looking over his shoulder to ensure he wasn't being tailed. He managed to return home safely, and since 2024, he hasn't posted another video about the sinister notes found on the Appalachian Trail. Dozens of hikers after him likely stumbled upon the disturbing notes and the dead duck, but the identity of the note writer and their intentions remain a mystery.